Wonderful shot, you. Effortlessly bisecting such a large rock, simply by transforming one plane within it to sand. Elegant indeed.
It would seem you've already reached the level at which you can easily transmute any substance between physical states.
We have trained many great pupils in our time, but your mastery of these skills is quite unprecedented.
I'm honored by your words. Thank you, Masters.
Well, it appears there is nothing more for us to teach you, my child.
Now go forth out into the world and do as you will.
You alone shall decide how you will wield this immense power. We shall not interfere.
Sirs, I wish to use it to transmute all things, for the benefit of all things and for all people. From this day forward, I want to dedicate my life to eradicating the folly of killing from this world.
You did say it was up to her, right? Unspeaking Rock?
Actually, I believe Unhearing Vapor said that.
Huh. I don't recall for certain, though it does sound like something I might say.
Regardless, among the three of us, no discord can be found in our knowledge, personalities, or emotional states.
In truth, I'm at a loss to think of any reason why we three should not be one. After all, we never argue.
If the world were made more like us, there would be no conflict at all. However,
the world is an unfeeling place, Shadu.
I understand how cruel the world can be, and I know it won't be easy. But still, I won't know it's possible until I try, right?
That scheming girl? Or maybe timid is a better word for her. Either way, she's probably dead by now.
Wait, why would you say something like that? Are you a psychic? Is that one of your special talents as a warrior?
I wouldn't call it a talent. I mean, it's just... You know how they say us rats always know when to flee a sinking ship? Well, maybe we can read impending doom on a person's face, too. But hey, if that chick does bite it, it's all your fault. You know that, don't you?
My fault? No, how do you figure that?
She may not have looked like all that much, but she was still a part of this. I mean, she had to have some skills to be chosen for the Junie Tyson. But then, the whole time you were talking to her, she just kept growing weaker and weaker. A warrior who started out only timid became truly powerless. Your boundless optimism disarmed her. To a trickster like her, your genuineness was deadly.
Hey, Nezumi, maybe I'm being overly sensitive here, but it kind of feels like you're trying to pick a fight with me. I'm sorry. I'm slow on the uptake with things like that.
Okay. In that case, I'll drop the subject. Maybe I can read death on people's faces, but I can't read minds. FYI, you won't reform me, no matter what, so don't worry about that. But for real, how do you see this playing out? I mean, no offense or nothing, but if that girl is dead, then we're down 4 warriors, and those are just the ones we're aware of. That's a third of us. Can your peaceful plan still work with those numbers?
Sure it can. Just a shame that there are fewer people to save. but you seem to be operating under a false assumption, so let me clear things up for you. The fact of the matter is I have more than one plan in mind.
Is that so?
I may be a hopeless optimist, but I'm not so naive as to think I could end the Junie Tyson without backup plans.
Well, guess I never really thought about how to end a war before. So maybe I ought to just leave that to you.
Hey, Nezumi.
Yeah?
I'm starting to get the feeling that you don't really want to stop the war, do you? Plus, earlier you said that you would never be reformed. So I gotta ask, then why'd you raise your hand and agree to my peace proposal if you're not even a pacifist?
Well, a peace agreement is one thing. It's just the peace itself that I hate. Because when I'm not out there on the battlefield, I've got to go to this normal, boring high school. It's full of trash people, all of them numbed by peace. When I think about risking my life to protect the anesthetized lifestyle of those ungrateful brats, I get sick to my stomach. Don't you ever get tired of it? I bet no one in the world has saved as many people as you have. But that means, according to the law of averages anyway, that you've saved a lot of garbage too. And who knows, maybe being saved is what turns them into garbage. They start to think that fighting and killing are jobs for someone else to do. Hate to admit it, but truth is, the more I protect him, the more I want to kill him. So what do you say to that, pacifist? How do you justify defending the entitled scum of the earth?
He has a childish sensitivity to him, but I guess that's part of being a teenager. Still, it'd be too glib to dismiss his concerns with a "you'll understand when you're older."
Look, how many times do I have to explain this to you? There's no problem here. We have nothing to argue about. That land has belonged to our country for centuries. It's as plain and simple as that.
If we have no problem here, then why are our respective nations still locked in a bloody battle?
Because your people stubbornly refuse to accept the facts.
It's you that can't accept facts.
I'm telling you, your country is
This
the one that's...
bickering gets us nowhere.
May I interject? I too believe that this conflict can't be easily resolved anytime soon. So I'm not suggesting an end to fighting, but a ceasefire.
Ceasefire? Absolutely not. We've long since passed the point where we can just keep kicking the can down the road.
I've been told you have a reputation for getting results in tense situations. I understand you've helped bring peace in over 300 international conflicts and 200 civil wars. There's no question about your qualifications.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
But the reason we're fighting is complicated, perhaps more complex than you're used to. You should know that by now.
May I direct your attention there? This is all about the region between your two countries. If I'm not mistaken, the dispute over that region has been raging for well over 70 years. This ongoing battle, with no willing compromise on either side, has become unproductive.
Unproductive? That's putting it mildly.
Because your people feign ignorance of the underlying issues.
I'm telling you,
Please stop telling me things like I'm some child. It's getting quite tiresome.
Fine, but let me say this. My country is legally in the right here, and that's not just according to me.
What I was trying to say is, negotiations between the two parties have proven to be unproductive.
Under the treaty that we agreed to a century ago, your government acknowledged that the land belonged to us.
I have a feeling that the reason you've both continued fighting for so long is less about protecting the well-being of your people, and more about preserving national pride.
Listen here. It's a fact that they're the ones who attacked first. We had no desire to wage a war.
Then why don't you be the first ones to lay down your arms so you can end it?
We can't just drop our defenses when we're under attack. We have a right to defend ourselves!
Please, stop! Historically, this land wasn't part of either of your countries, right?
That was a long time ago. The nation it used to be was broken up and lost its autonomy, so ours stepped in to provide governance.
You mean you invaded it?
Regardless, that gave me a brilliant idea.
What kind of idea? Yes, come in.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Our armies had a sudden rash of deserters.
What'd you say?
They armed themselves and declared that they were renouncing the war. Countless others have followed suit. There's more. They're demanding a ceasefire.
What the hell? I want a full detailed update the
What is
second
it?
these stupid talks are over. Gather the men.
Yes, sir.
That's impossible.
I'll get right on that.
All right. Get confirmation right away.
What's going on?
Please forgive me, but an urgent matter has come to my attention that I have to deal with immediately. Perhaps...
Are the frontline soldiers deserting and calling for a ceasefire?
Wait a minute. Don't tell me you were behind this.
They're the descendants of the country that used to exist there. And together they're repudiating your war and choosing independence for themselves instead.
So you really think your plan will work?
Well, look, both countries' armies are already exhausted. If you reduce their forces even further and get public opinion on your side, a ceasefire's inevitable.
It's true that the soldiers on the front lines are fatigued and demoralized. But I'm not convinced we can come together after so much blood has been spilled on both sides.
I'm sure there'll be grudges. But I'll bet every single one of them are as sick of this war as you are.
A ceasefire and a promise to restore our homeland.
I don't know how much I can do to help, but I'll give it my best shot. And, as in all things, you won't know what's possible until you try. While you two were focused on these fruitless talks, bickering over old grievances, you turned a blind eye to the soldiers fighting your war for you, how they were suffering and dying. It was your pride and negligence that led you to this current predicament. And by the way, this is no longer just a matter involving your two countries alone. I plan to spread the message far and wide. All those seeking peace will find refuge here.
It's a ceasefire!
A ceasefire!
Eventually, the two sides did bury the hatchet. Unfortunately, they buried it right in the backs of the rebels.
The Allied forces have joined together, taking up arms in the disputed territory to suppress the insurgent uprising. The formation of a third faction, the Rebel Army, was designated a severe threat by the generals of the Allied forces, who then commenced a large-scale search and destroy operation. Fighting has subsided through most of the region. However, some...
I wish I could tell you otherwise, but
I'll bring you a special...
this happens all the time. Me getting emotional over it doesn't help anyone. All I can do is respond honestly, with candor, based on everything that I've seen and experienced. So you see, I don't make peace with it. I carry it with me. Forever.
Gotcha. Very saintly of you. But it's not gonna speak to the masses. I mean, you put all this time and energy into negotiating peace and proposing ceasefires or whatever. But like, if you just used your power to instantaneously end all the fighting, like bam, it's over, wouldn't you be able to save even more lives and in way less time?
What does that mean?
It means you may be the exception, but otherwise, the kinds of people who participate in the Junie Tyson, myself included, we're not exactly... I guess what I'm asking is, why would you put yourself through hell trying to save our lives? The world would be much better off if every last one of us monsters died as quickly as possible. We fighters are the only ones who could find any meaning in this war, a war for which an entire city was evacuated. Almost no one knows about the Junie Tyson. But if they did, I bet they'd all say something like, I hope every last one of those bastards croaks so we can be done with it. You know how people say each and every life is a precious gift, or nobody is entirely evil, right? Well, those are just the platitudes of those who are blind to reality.
How sad. If that's the conclusion you've come to, then, honestly, I really think you should just give up on being a warrior right now. You're not qualified to be on the battlefield. Also, earlier, you said something about how nobody had saved as many people as I have. Then it follows that no one's failed to save as many people as I have either. There's so many lives I tried to save but wasn't able to. Far more than I could ever count, and more than I could ever begin to forget. I've seen nation after nation fall to ruin. I've seen slaughter on top of endless slaughter. Horrific crimes against humanity are burned into my brain. Hunting down people, institutionalized slavery, civil war, immoral weaponry, human trafficking, genocide. Patricide, infanticide, ethnic genocide, destruction of cultural heritage sites, prejudice and discrimination, revenge and retaliation, subjugation of women, the theft of resources, famine and epidemics. I've seen those things again and 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 again. I've seen them all. I've looked them in the eye. I've faced that reality. Yet despite it all, I still speak those platitudes. I still choose to do what I do. I choose to stop wars with the power of my words. And yeah, I've been through some terrible things myself too, but I won't let that stop me from getting along with people. Ideally, I'd like to find happiness with everybody in the whole world. So don't sell platitudes short, okay?
Need some help?
Nah. Thanks, but it means more if I make it myself.
Sure. Okay. Hey. Nothing, sorry.
No, tell me.
Well, I was just gonna say that I know you're leaving again soon. And I don't see you as some badass warrior. To me, you're just Misaki Yuki. The person sitting here who makes pastries, she's the one I love. And I want to protect this life we have together. I just wish that was enough.
I know. And I feel the same way. I want to protect this life we have too. That's why I go out and fight on battlefields.
Sorry. I get it, I do. It's just that the house feels so empty when you're always having—
Baby, if you're gonna love me, I need you to be stronger for me. 'Cause when it's over, I will be coming back home to you. You got that? This is a battle in itself. Maybe I took it a little bit too far. What should I do now?
I know for a fact that Boar and Dog are gone. Oh, and Snake died before the tournament began. So that's at least 3 warriors already out of the running.
If Chicken's dead, that leaves only 6, not including Nezumi and myself. Some might call me naive for thinking this, but it seems unusual to have so many highly aggressive fighters competing in this sort of battle royale. Sure, having any wish granted's a tempting prize, but you'd think just about all of those guys would be capable of granting most wishes for themselves.
So this warrior of the rabbit, he's the most dangerous one. His necromantistry lets him... It means that he can... Well, you know, he makes zombie slaves by reanimating the dead.
If he has a power like that, why even bother with this contest? Well, participation is mandatory, so I guess he couldn't say no. I need to make up my mind. Should I bide my time down here a little longer or head up to the surface? Sooner or later, I'll need to... Nezumi, get up!
Ow. I thought you were against violence. What is that? Looks like a dead bird.
Dead? The necromantist!
This is looking pretty bad. There are way too many of them. And in a festering disease pit like this place, even the smallest scratch could give us tetanus.
We're leaving!
Hey, wait! Let go! I can run on my own just fine!
zombie slave, but the weapon he's using...
Killing psychotically. Warrior of the Rabbit, Usagi.
I have no choice. Nezumi, you think you can handle the snake?
Wait a minute. So you're gonna fight now?
Even though I'm a pacifist at heart, that doesn't mean I won't defend myself. I'll restrain them both peacefully, and then we can talk it out rationally.
Really? You want to restrain them peacefully? It sounds like way more work than just killing them. Why's it always gotta be like this with you?
Always? We just met.
Doesn't take too long to figure out what someone's always like. Oh, fine, I'm in.
Killing peacefully. Warrior of the monkey. Sharyu.
Killing all. Warrior of the rat. Nezumi.
There's an old saying, advertise mutton, sell dog meat, meaning goods are worth what people will pay for them. Next time, a wolf in sheep's clothing. Everyone give yourselves a hand.